Chapter 5, The 5 Laws of Gold. A bag heavy with gold, or a clay tablet with wise words, if you could choose, which would you take? By the shaking light of a small fire, the sun-brown faces of the listeners looked bright with interest. The gold. The gold, said the 27 men together. Old Calabab smiled. He knew this answer. Listen, he said, and he lifted his hand. Hear the wild dogs in the night. They cry and howl because they are hungry. But if you feed them, what do? They fight. They walk proud. Then they fight again. They do not think about tomorrow, even though tomorrow will surely come. It is the same with many men. Give them a choice, gold or wisdom. What do? They leave the wisdom and waste the gold. Then, the next day, they cry because they have no more gold. Gold stays with the man who knows its laws and follows them. Calabab pulled his white robe close around his thin legs. The night wind was cool. You have served me well on our long trip, he said. You cared for my camels. You walked across hot sand and you did not complain. You fought the robbers who tried to steal my goods. So tonight I will tell you a story, the story of the 5 laws of gold. You never heard a story like this. Listen with full attention. If you understand these laws, and if you follow them, then in the days ahead you will have much gold. He stopped for a moment. The stars were bright in the clear sky. Behind the men stood their old tents, tied tight for desert storms. Near the tents were piles of goods covered with skins. Not far away the camels lay on the sand. Some chewed slowly. Some snored loudly. The chief packer said, You told us many good stories, Calabab. Tomorrow our work for you ends. We hope your wisdom will guide us. Calabab said, I told you stories about strange lands. But tonight I will tell you a story of wisdom. It is the wisdom of Arkad, the wise rich man. The chief packer said, We heard much about him. He was the richest man Babylon ever had. Calabab said, Yes. He was the richest because he was wise with gold. No man before him knew so much about it. Tonight I will tell you his wisdom, as I heard it from Nomaser, his son, many years ago, in Nineveh, when I was still young. My master and I stayed late one night in the palace of Nomaser. I helped my master bring in many fine rugs. Nomaser tried them one by one, until he liked the colors. At last he was pleased. Then he told us to sit with him. He gave us a rare wine. It smelled good. It warmed my stomach, because I was not used to such drink. Then he told us a story about his father, Arkad. I tell it to you now, the same way he told it to us. In Babylon, sons of rich fathers often stay at home. They wait to get the father's wealth. Arkad did not like this. So when Nomaser became a man, Arkad called him and said, My son, one day I want you to get my land and the things I own. But first you must prove you can use them well. So I want you to go out into the world. Show that you can earn gold. Show that you can become a man that other men respect. To help you start, I will give you 2 things. When I was young and poor, I did not have these 2 things. First, I give you this bag of gold. If you use it wisely, it can be the start of your success. Second, I give you this clay tablet. On it are written the 5 laws of gold. If you use these laws in your life, they will bring you skill and safety. 10 years from today you will come back to my house and tell me about your life. If you are worthy, I will choose you to get my money from family. If not, I will give my land and the things I own to the priests. So Nomaser went out into the world. He took the bag of gold. He wrapped the clay tablet in silk cloth. He took his slave and his horses. 10 years passed. Nomaser returned, just as he promised. His father made a great feast for him. He invited many friends and relatives. After the feast, the father and mother sat on high seats at one side of the hall. Nomaser stood before them to tell his report. It was evening. The room was full of smoke from oil lamps. Their light was weak. Slaves in white clothes moved palm leaves to cool the hot air. The room felt calm and serious. Nomacer's wife and his 2 little sons sat behind him on rugs. Friends and family sat there too, listening closely. Nomacer said, "My father, I bow to your wisdom. 10 years ago you sent me out to become a man among men, not a boy living on your wealth. You gave me much gold. You gave me wisdom too. But I must say this, I used the gold in a bad way. It ran from my hands, like a wild rabbit runs away from a young hunter." The father smiled and said, "Continue, my son. I want to hear all." Nomacer said, "I decided to go to Nineveh. It was a growing city. I thought I could find chances there. I joined a caravan. I made many friends. 2 men were smooth talkers. They had a beautiful white horse, very fast. On the road they told me a secret. They said there was a rich man in Nineveh. He owned a horse that had never been beaten. The owner believed no horse could run faster. He would bet any sum, even a big sum, that his horse could win. My friends said their white horse was faster. They said the Nineveh horse was slow, like a donkey. They asked me to join their bet. I felt excited. But our horse lost badly. I lost much of my gold." The father laughed. Nomacer said, "Later I learned the truth. Those men fooled me. They traveled with caravans to find people to trick. The man in Nineveh was their partner. He shared the money they won. This taught me a hard lesson. I must protect myself. Soon I learned another hard lesson. In the caravan there was another young man. I became friendly with him. He was also a son of rich parents. Like me, he came to Nineveh to find a good place for himself. After we arrived, he told me this: a merchant had died, and his shop could be bought for a very small price. The shop had goods and customers. My friend said we would share it as partners. But first he had to go back to Babylon to get his gold. He pushed me to pay for the goods with my gold. He promised to add his gold later. He waited and waited. While he stayed, he bought badly and wasted money. At last I sent him away. But by then the shop was ruined. We had only bad goods that no one wanted, and no gold to buy good goods. I sold what was left to an Israelite for a small sum. Then, my father, came bitter days. I looked for work but found none. I had no skill that could earn money. I sold my horses. I sold my slave. I sold extra robes, just to buy food and a place to sleep. But each day hunger came closer. In those days I remembered your trust in me, my father. You sent me out to become a man. I decided strongly to do it." The mother hid her face and cried softly. Nomacer said, "Then I remembered the clay tablet you gave me. I read it very carefully. I saw this truth: if I had looked for wisdom first, I would not have lost the gold. I learned each law, and I decided this: when good luck smiles on me again, I will follow wisdom, not the wild feelings of youth. Now, for all who sit here tonight, I will read the words my father wrote on the tablet." Nomacer read. The 5 Laws of Gold. Gold comes gladly, and comes in more and more, to the man who saves at least 1/10 of what he earns, to build a safe future for himself and his family. Gold works hard and happily for the wise owner who puts it to good work. It grows, like animals in a herd. Gold stays safe with the careful owner who puts it to work with advice from men who understand gold. Gold slips away from the man who puts it into work he does not understand, or into plans that wise men do not approve. Gold runs away from the man who tries to make it earn impossible profits, or who follows sweet words from tricksters, or who trusts his little experience and dreams. Nomacer said, "These laws are worth more than gold. I will show this as I continue my story." He turned to his father again. "I told you how low I fell. But bad luck does not last forever. My bad days ended when I found work. I became the leader of slaves who worked on the new outer wall of the city. I used the first law. From my first pay I saved 1 copper. I kept adding small coins. Slowly I got 1 silver coin. It was slow, because a man must live. I spent little, because I wanted to give back. Before 10 years ended, as much gold as you gave me." One day the slave master, who became my friend, said, "You are a careful young man. You do not waste what you earn. Do you have gold saved that is not working?" I said, "Yes. I want to collect gold to replace what my father gave me and what I lost." He said, "Gold you save can work for you and bring more gold." I answered, "My experience was painful. My father's gold ran away from me. I fear mine will run away too." He said, "If you trust me, I will show you how to use gold well. In 1 year the outer wall will be finished. Then the city will need great bronze gates. Nineveh does not have enough metal. The king did not plan for it. Here is a plan. A group of us will put our gold together. We will send a caravan to far mines of copper and tin. We will bring metal back. When the king says, 'Make the gates,' we will be the only sellers. The king will pay a high price. If the king does not buy, we can still sell the metal for a fair price." I saw my chance. This was the third law. I put my savings to work with guidance from wise men. It worked. Our plan succeeded. My small gold became much more. Later, I joined the same group in other deals. These men were wise with gold. They spoke about every plan with care. They did not risk losing the main money. They did not lock their gold in bad plans. If I had met these men earlier, they would have stopped my foolish horse bet. They would have stopped my foolish partner plan. They would have shown me the danger. By being with them, I learned to put gold to work safely and earn fair profit. Year by year my treasure grew faster. I earned back what I lost, and more. My father, I tested the 5 laws many times. They were true every time. To the man who does not know these laws, gold comes rarely and leaves quickly. But to the man who follows these laws, gold comes and works like a loyal slave. Nomacer stopped and signaled to a slave. The slave brought 3 heavy leather bags, one by one. Nomacer put one bag on the floor in front of his father. He said, "You gave me 1 bag of Babylon gold. I give you back 1 bag of Nineveh gold, the same weight. It is a fair exchange. You gave me a clay tablet with wisdom. In place of it, I give you back 2 bags of gold." He placed the other 2 bags on the floor. "I do this to show you, your wisdom is worth more to me than your gold. Who can measure wisdom in bags of gold? Without wisdom, a man loses gold quickly. With wisdom, a man can gain gold even if he started with nothing. These 3 bags show it. My father, it gives me deep joy to say this, because of your wisdom, I became rich and respected." The father put his hand on Nomacer's head and said, "You learned well. I am glad I have a son I can trust with my wealth." Calabab stopped and looked at his listeners. "What does this story mean to you?" he asked. "Which of you can go to your father, or to your wife's father, and say, 'I used my earnings wisely'? What would these old men think if you said, 'I traveled. I worked. I earned. But I have little gold. I spent some well. I spent some foolishly. I lost much in unwise ways'? Do you still think it is only fate that some men have much gold and other men have none? If you think that, you are wrong. Men have much gold when they know the 5 laws of gold and follow them. I learned these laws when I was young. I followed them. That is why I became a rich merchant. Not magic. Wealth that comes fast often goes fast. Wealth that stays, and gives joy and peace, comes slowly. It is like a child. It is born from knowledge and steady purpose. To earn wealth is not a heavy burden for the man who thinks. Carry this burden year after year, and you will reach the goal. The 5 laws of gold give a rich reward to those who follow them. Each law has deep meaning. I do not want you to miss it. So I will say them again. I know them by heart. When I was young, I saw their value. I learned them word for word. The first law of gold. Gold comes gladly, and comes in more and more, to the man who saves at least 1/10 of what he earns, to build a safe future for himself and his family. If a man saves 1/10 each time, and uses it wisely, he will build a safe future. It will give him income later. It will also protect his family if he dies. This law says gold comes gladly to such a man. I know this is true. The more gold I saved, the more easily gold came to me. The gold I saved earned more. Then those earnings earned more. That is the first law at work. The second law of gold. Gold works hard and happily for the wise owner who gives it good work. It grows, like animals in a herd. Gold is a willing worker. It wants to grow. When a man has saved gold, chances come to use it well. Over time it can grow in surprising ways. The third law of gold. Gold stays safe with the careful owner who puts it to work with advice from men who understand gold. Gold stays with the careful man. It runs from the careless man. When a man asks advice from wise men, he learns to keep his treasure safe. Then he can enjoy its steady growth. The fourth law of gold. Gold slips away from the man who puts it into work he does not understand, or into plans that wise men do not approve. When a man has gold but does not understand, many plans look good. Often they are dangerous. Wise men can see the danger. The man with little experience trusts his own thinking. He pays for not knowing with his gold. So it is wise to use gold with advice from men who know gold. The fifth law of gold. Gold runs away from the man who tries to make it earn impossible profits, or who follows sweet advice from tricksters, or who trusts his little experience and dreams. Adventure plans come to new owners of gold. They sound exciting. They promise magic profit. But wise men know the risks. They know danger hides behind plans for sudden great wealth. Remember the rich men of Nineveh. They would not risk losing their main money. They would not lock it in bad plans. This ends my story of the 5 laws of gold. In telling it, I told you the secrets of my success. But they are not secrets. They are truths. Every man must learn them and follow them if he wants to leave the hungry crowd, like wild dogs who worry each day for food. Tomorrow we enter Babylon. Look! See the eternal fire above the temple of Bel. We can already see the golden city. Tomorrow each of you will have gold, gold you earned by faithful work. 10 years from tonight, what will you say about that gold? If some of you use part of your gold like Nomaser, if you start a safe future and follow Arkad's wisdom, then in 10 years you can be rich and respected. Our wise acts stay with us and help us. Our unwise acts also stay with us and hurt us. We remember most of all the things we should have done, the chances we had, and did not take. Babylon's treasures are great. No man can count them. Each year they grow. Like treasures in every land, they reward men with purpose, men who decide to take their fair share. In your own strong desire there is power. Guide that power with the 5 laws of gold, and you will share the treasures of Babylon. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next chapters.